Parshas Ki Savo, a parsha rich in hashkafa and messages that we have to take home with us each and every day. And there's so much to talk about. The first pasuk discusses the fact that Kodesh Baruch Hu gives us a haftacha v'yishtav yeshavta ba v'haya ki savo el ha'aretz. The last pasuk, which is always the one I like to look at in the parsha, is one which doesn't get enough publicity. Ushmartem es divrei habris hazos v'asisam osam. If you keep Hashem's bris, l'ma'an taskilo eis kol asher ta'asun. L'ma'an taskilo eis kol asher ta'asun. We will be successful in whatever we do if we follow the Torah and learn the Torah. It's an outstanding and awesome. Here I use the word awesome on purpose. Haftacha. That if we keep the Torah, we will be successful. Period. In between these two wonderful psukim is a wealth of Torah, and the most prominent of which, of course, is the Tochacha, the second Tochacha in the Torah, first one in Bechukosai, this one in Ki Savo. However, I want to bring down a pasuk here, which is brought down by Rav Shep's Sefer, Marasha Simchas HaTorah. Rav Sheps was the Rosh Yeshiva in Torah Vadas, a very quiet, very, very humble man, a very Torah mensch, was beloved by all. And in his Sefer, he brings the pasuk, which is in Perek Chav Zayin pasuk Ches, and I'll read it. V'chosavtoi al ha'avonim es kol divrei haTorah azos ba'er heitev. This is referring to, in this particular small section of Ki Savo, a rather unusual and again remarkable mitzvah, which doesn't get enough prominence, but is a mitzvah like any other one. What were Bnei Yisrael supposed to do in their momentous entry into Eretz Yisrael? Yeah, they're going to conquer the land, and they're going to be a kibush, but before you do that, you have to go and get the brachos and klolos and hagris and harevo. Before you do that, as you cross the river, you pick up some stones, and you put up these stones, and you plaster them, and after you plaster them, you write the whole Torah on them. A remarkable mitzvah. What could this mitzvah possibly mean to us? They're supposed to write the whole Torah, and in fact, and the last two words are ba'er heitev. Rashi says on the spot, ba'ayin lashon. Not only do we write the whole Torah, and the Ramban on the spot, Rav Shep's quotes, says ba'er heitev, that you have the entire Torah from Bereshis until Le'nei Kol Yisrael on these stones. Then Rashi says, not only that, you have that entire Torah translated into 70 different languages. There's only two possibilities. They either wrote in microscript, which the Ramban mentions, they wrote very, very tiny, or much more likely, it was all b'nerach nes. The Kodesh Baruch Hu created an nes in exactly the same way that Hashem could defeat Og by fitting into a mouse hole, which Og cannot. Hashem can have all of Klal Yisrael meet in front of the Mishkan, which is the Parshas Shmini. All the millions of people stood right in front of the little Mishkan, and they all fit in there. In exactly the same way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can fit the entire Torah and 70 translations on a number of stones on the west side of the Yarden. What is the purpose of telling us all of this? So Rav Sheps brings down the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, a very tragic Gemara. Kishotzius Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion l'Sreifa, when they took the Tana, Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion, one of the Asor Haruga Malchus, Amrul Talmidav, the Talmidav told him, Rabbi Ma Torah, what do you see? And he says, the Gevilim Nasrafim, the parchment is being burned. However, the Osios Porchos Pa'avir, the letters are flying in the air. They're flying in the air. Rebbe, what will happen to us? The Torah is being burned. He said, don't be afraid. The letters are flying in the air. Those letters are indestructible. That's what it means. The letters in Parchos of floating means pricha utzmicha, planting, growing. All the Divrei Torah, not only will they last forever, but they will continue to flourish and blossom just like flowers will blossom. The kiyum of the Torah is nitzchias. Even though everything seems to be destroyed and we're losing it, this nes of the Torah's nitzchias is embodied in these two stones on the west side of the Yarden. Yes, they wrote the Torah on these two stones, but it was b'derech nes, in exactly the same way as was a nes to write those two stones, as Rashi says, b'shivim lashon. So too the Torah's kiyum is a nes and will last forever. That is the Ramban and Rav Sheps's message to us. There's no sreifa for Torah. No matter how many times the Goyim Yimach Shemam burn our Sifrei Torah, our Torah is nitzchias, and we appreciate it as such, and that is what this story is telling us. Just as we go into Eretz Yisrael, that's exactly what was the message. That was exactly the message. This Torah which I gave you in Chutz La'aretz is exactly the same Torah L'Dor Doros. Certainly now when you're going into Eretz Yisrael and you're coming back down to earth and not living a himmeldik, heavenly existence with Mon and Anani HaKavod and Be'er Miriam. Back into nature, this same Torah is nitzchias and will maintain you Lo'ad. Good Shabbos.